It's Chris Smith time. Oh, hello, everybody. It's me, Chris Smith, and I'm here today to review a show that I just recently saw called The Civility of Albert Cashier, a new musical. Now, and this I saw this at the Colony Theater in beautiful Burbank, California. And what's such a treat is I love that they had an actual playbill. You know, if you're doing small theater, I learned this from Grace Jasmine when we were working on the Masher. She actually had programs with the playbill logo. And I said, "Oh, I didn't know that you could do that." And she said, "Yes, you just have to, I guess you have to pay a license or whatever to, but you can have your programs with playbill." So it just adds class to the proceedings. You know, I really enjoyed this show, The Civility of Albert Cashier. It is a true story, and it is about a young man, Albert Cashier, pictured here, who joined the Civil War and fought and was like a very brave soldier, won many battles, and later, they come to find out that Albert Cashier is a trans man. So when Albert had gotten his pension, he got in trouble with the law, and there was a whole court case because they were claiming that Albert was a fraud and was actually Jenny Irene Hodgers. But because Albert was who he was on the inside and on the outside, I mean, look, it's amazing. Isn't that incredible? And so Albert was a man for to everyone in his troop. Or do they call them troops, the soldiers that fight together? And had lots of friends in who just did not know the secret. Now, the show it's a book by J. Paul Deratani. I'm so sorry. I haven't heard the name said out loud, and wouldn't you know it, I go to say it and then I don't know how. Deratani. Well, anyway, J. Paul did the book, and music is by Coyote, Joe Stevens, and Keaton Wooden, and lyrics are by Stevens, Wooden, and Deratani. And it's a very, very catchy score, I must say. I didn't know anything about this show, and apparently it was done in it was even done off Broadway. But hold on one moment, I can tell you more. The Wikipedia says it's a folk country musical. It's very peppy and very happy. It had a developmental run in 2017 in Chicago. It had workshops and sessions at the Chicago Musical Theater Festival, the Los Angeles LGBT Arts Center, and the Marriott Theater in Chicago. And in May 2022, the Trans Entertainment Guild hosted a staged concert version of the musical off Broadway with an all transgender non-conforming cast at the Players Theater in New York City. See, I didn't even know any of that. And then when I saw that this was playing, I said, well, I must go and see it. Now, I saw it September 1st. And if you're in the Los Angeles area or in Southern California, check on the website of the Colony Theater and see if you can get tickets. It runs for one more week. It's playing through September 22nd. When I saw it in preview still at the Colony, it had a very full, enthusiastic audience. And here is the cast. Oh, and I must say, it's directed by Richard Israel, who's I've seen many plays directed by Richard. Choreography is by Hayden J. Frederick, and music direction by Anthony Luca. And this is the cast. Well, there's a young Albert and an older Albert. Sidney Bullens plays older Albert, and Danny Shea, who's non-binary, is playing a young Albert, pictured here on the cover of this playbill. Now, of note also in the cast is Blake Jenner, who you'll all remember from Glee towards the end. Remember when there were new kids in the school, and Blake Jenner played one of them. And there he is. And also Jonah Robinson, who is currently on Days of Our Lives as Dr. Mark Green, not to be confused with Dr. Mark Green from ER, but Dr. Mark Green, who is involved in a scheme on Days of Our Lives with a fake Abigail Devereaux Demira, who's pretending to be Abigail back from the dead with reconstructive surgery, but it's not really. It's Dr. Mark Green's sister, and we don't know very much about the story yet, but I don't really like that storyline. But we're here to talk about the Civility of Albert Cashier, and so the cast was stellar. I thought the theater was the perfect setting for this show. Here's the rest of the insides of the playbill, and it's set in, does it say, it goes back and forth. It's set in 1911 at the Soldiers and Sailors Home and a military courtroom in Quincy, Illinois. And it goes back into 1862, the battlefields of Vicksburg, Mississippi. It is a 2-act show, and of course you can find out all online about all the musical numbers. But to me, I'm like, is Albert Cashier one of the very first transgender people that we know about? I mean, we know that trans people existed since people were around, I'm sure. So, but nobody knew what to call it. Nobody knew the word trans. But it is a triumphant show. It's a show of hope. It's a show of being yourself and being true to yourself. And about brotherhood, because all the soldiers form a family when they fight together, and they really come through for Albert later in life. Not to give anything away, but when Albert is having these legal problems. But yes, if you can get out to see this show at the Colony Theater, I recommend it. Okay, goodbye everyone. I'll see you the next time that it's Christmas time.